Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Well, welcome one, welcome all. I am Katie Petrick, and as always, I'm joined by the man with all the stuff, David Fiorazzo.
All the stuff.
Doing all the things.
Yes.
Including Worldview Matters. And what did you do with all the stuff today on Worldview Matters?
Pastor Seiko Woods. We talked about a very heavy topic today, lies of the left, mob rule, demand unequal justice. And we focused quite a bit on the Derek Chauvin trial and Black Lives Matter and what happened in 2020, and some video and a new documentary that has come out with the truth about some things regarding George Floyd, and you're not going to believe it. You probably haven't seen it, maybe. So that's today on worldviewmatters.tv. If you'd like to subscribe, we'll send you an email every Friday with a recap of the week. And also tomorrow night, we've got a live event here. I'll be talking about my book, Assault on the Image of God, at Freedom Project headquarters, Appleton, Wisconsin. That's for those of you that can make it in person in Northeast Wisconsin. We'd love to see you. It's 7 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. That's Central Time. I say Central Time because we are going to be streaming live.
Woo!
Yes, streaming online. Go to the Freedom Project Facebook page, and we'll be live streaming tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central. We'll have a Q&A in there, and the person that designed the book cover is going to be here.
Cool.
And also Scott Shera is going to be here. Him and his wife contributed a chapter on medical malpractice to the book, and a lot of other guests, and it's going to be fun. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at Freedom Project headquarters.
All right, that's awesome. And one more quick reminder.
Yes.
You can catch Educated on the go by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform, whichever one it may be. Now we're going to head on down to Texas, which I think is still Central Time. We had a Texas mom removed from a school committee that was designed to create sex ed curriculum after other moms discovered that she has this very big secret. Ooh. What is said big secret, David?
Ooh, well,
plot twist.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So, this is just, you think about this. This person, this woman that was tasked with creating sex ed classes, removed from the school district after it was found somehow that she was a convicted prostitute.
Okay.
Yeah, makes you think of what's going on with the background checks there.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, and I have a very different response to this story, and I'm going to give you that in a minute, but we're going to watch a video and come back and discuss it.
A convicted prostitute actively advertising as an escort was serving on a council that recommends appropriate grade levels and methods for human sexuality instruction within godly ISD.
And I don't see any community wanting that to be the standard for their school district.
School Health Advisory Councils, or SHACs, are required by Texas law. SHACs recommend to school boards a wide range of health education protocols for students, including appropriate grade levels and curriculum for instruction regarding sex trafficking.
That's the other thing we need to talk about is the health fair.
Ashley Ketcherside is shown in a Godly ISD YouTube video at the SHAC Council's first meeting of the school year in October. She's listed as a committee member in meeting minutes. Members need to be appointed by the school board to serve, according to a district spokesperson who says Ketcherside's family entered the district this year. She was a volunteer on the Family and Community Engagement Committee, PTO, and Godly Athletic Booster Club. Ketcherside also leads a local cheerleading group, according to Godly ISD. One of her email addresses matches the same email address on escort sites for a Lola Bree. Lola Bree's images are found on public websites. Some images are too risque to use in our report. Tarrant County court documents obtained by Fox 4 reveal Ashley Ketcherside, maiden name Ashley Villalobos, was found guilty of prostitution in 2012 and 2016. Still, according to whistleblowers, this story is not all about prostitution, rather a lack of oversight.
So really, it's interesting that it's called godly, but it's not godly as in godly. Biblically godly. It's Godley. But parents became suspicious of her when she claimed to own multiple businesses but did not provide any information about those businesses. And when they finally investigated, they discovered her past convictions. But here's the thing, Katie. A school board trustee said this, quote, "We had no idea what was going on in her personal life. She was always very friendly and personable." End quote.
Yep. Okay. Well,
So-
hey, I mean, you did your due diligence on that one then. Well, that's like all these volunteers for everything are supposed to be like screened. But apparently because it was the misdemeanor or what it wasn't, it was under her maiden name for 2012 and 2016. And they just oopsie, like we just, I guess, don't really dig into it. We're just like, okay, she seems nice. But my question is about Mrs. Ketcherside, Ashley. If they're new to the district, why did she volunteer? And specifically, why did she volunteer for the Family and Community Engagement Committee, parent-teacher organization? Is it because she's like, well, what, out of all the possible organizations I can volunteer for, which one maybe would I fit in best with? What do I have the most experience in? And apparently it was, anything dealing with sex. And that's why she wanted to be on the Health Advisory Council. And again, they have to be selected by the school board. So if the school board's not vetting and they're just letting her go on to this, like they're missing the ball at multiple opportunities to catch her, I guess.
Yeah. So my interesting take on this, Katie Petrick, is let's talk about morals and what.
Are we allowed to talk about morals?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Depending on how you word it.
Morale.
What generally the teachers unions endorse and support, and what is allowed and promoted in the government Marxist, liberal, progressive, anti-Christian public schools in America. Why I don't understand from that perspective. I don't understand what the big deal is. Why she wouldn't be allowed to be part of the school system, because they shouldn't have any problem with her, because that's what they promote. I mean, look at the sex ed classes and all their teaching when it comes to sexualized, children in the schools. I mean, they're just reaching kids at younger and younger ages. So she was convicted of being a prostitute. Big deal. So I'm kind of playing, at lack of a better word, devil's advocate here, because they endorse all this. I mean, there are some on the left that want to legalize prostitution. Many on the left, obviously. Kamala Harris was one of them, I believe. So there's interesting debates here within morality. What's going on now? Let's back it up 50 years. And talk about our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. They would say, are you kidding me? How did she slip through the cracks? How did she end up in education? Well, we don't ask those questions anymore because we understand the worldviews have shifted.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on my
Well, it's how dare you judge her personal viewings and what she's doing, like,
Right.
And that's what that view is. Now, what's interesting is this probably even is an issue at all, is because it is Texas, where some of these school districts still actually care about what's right and wrong, and they know the difference between boys and girls as well. If this was a California story, this is not a story. Because this is happening, I'm sure.
Right.
Over and over and over and over. So this isn't a story to them. They're just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Cool. You can wear that on, instead of your Scarlet A, that's your Scarlet P, and proud of it. Your proud P, proud prostitute, like in anything on the East or West Coast and maybe East Coast. But still here in the heart of Texas, they were saying, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Now, just so you do know, however, so prostitution is just a misdemeanor, but escort sites, because it said she's an escort sites are legal in Texas as long as payment is not exchanged for sex. So I don't want to know the details.
And
of
my
any of
other
that.
question would be, what happens if this happens during Pride Month? I mean, they're proud of the whole LGBTQ. Oh, so they're now coming against a prostitute, but they're not. They don't have any issues with homosexual and lesbian activity and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we've got a very confused culture morally, but nothing that you don't know already. Turns out, next, Gen Z doesn't want woke storylines and romantic relationships in their movies. What? And you won't believe which celebrity they consider most trustworthy. We'll talk about that next.
Okay, so here's something that is fascinating to me. Generation Z, those teenagers, early 20-year-olds right now. That's Generation Z. They don't want the storylines that you would actually suspect they would want. They want to hear action. They want to hear because they want action movies and not woke ones. Like what?
Huh.
Since when is that a thing? We figured they would want action movies that are woke.
Interesting.
Woke-tion movies, but they actually don't.
Okay.
A new survey found. So it's a survey from UCLA, and it found that the younger college-age generation ranked superhero movies and action films high in their interest list, along with hopeful, uplifting content with people beating the odds and people with lives like my own. Now, before you get to thinking, oh my gosh, it's happening.
What?
The pendulum is swinging
Oh,
back.
right.
We're coming back to reality. No, au contraire, au contraire. There's still plenty of going on. So,
Can you explain that?
hey,
Put that into words.
Yes. Meanwhile, we do have non-binary and LGBTQIA plus identities actually being ranked at the bottom of what they want to view. And this is according to the UCLA Center for Scholars and Storytellers, right? So it's a survey of 1,500 people. They found that Gen Z is not interested in sexual content, which yes, this is probably why it's explaining the lack of interest for the LGBT-focused stuff.
Okay.
Because LGBT-focused stuff is only about the sexual relationships.
Right.
But instead, this Gen Zers don't want any. They apparently want something they're calling nomance. They want a platonic, to see friendship and platonic content. So the majority of adolescents, we're talking 13 to 24-year-olds, the majority, 51.5%, over half, expressed a desire for more content that is centered around friendships and platonic relationships in their movie watching.
Huh.
All right. A new or near majority, 44.3%, felt that romance in the media is overused. Okay. A surprising, they say, 39% want to see more aromantic and or asexual characters on screen. It makes sense why they want the action movies then, right? They always have time for romance at the very end of, damsel in distress type stuff, but they want more of just platonic stuff, nothing happening. 47.5% of the adolescents said that sex isn't needed for the plot of most TV shows and movies.
What?
I know. So it's kind of like on one hand, you're like, yay, I'm agreeing with what they're saying. But also their logic behind some of it is not great. Like they don't want the man and the woman either. They want no one to have any romance whatsoever. So there's going to be issues. They all just are going to, no one then, again, they're 13 to 24-year-olds, so they can change their mind hopefully. But they're all going to just end up living all by themselves with their cats in an apartment because they don't want to have romantic partners, which would be doomsday for our society as well if people then are not producing babies. Anyway, you could go down a rabbit hole in interpreting how this affects us moving forward.
Yeah, let's not talk logic and things like that.
Yes.
But let's talk about the point that they just, I think, want to be distracted. I think they want, and it's interesting, they want hopeful and more positive, themes. But it's very interesting that things that did not make the top 10 ranking, climate change, racial minorities, political content, immigration, these things that the left is pushing and the media, the Marxist media in America and the government and the Biden White House, those things don't make the top 10 when it comes to what kids want to be entertained with or hear about when they go to movies. So I'm making the leap that they need an escape because the world is so nuts and it is so potentially confusing, because they're being lied to. Mm-hmm. Young people are being lied to from the youngest and youngest of ages. So there is a lot of confusion going on out there, and there is a lot of heaviness when it comes to the news. Access to news 24/7 around the world. We can find out what the gruesome and recent details, up-to-date details of awful stories that are happening. Human beings weren't meant to hear about this, to carry this, to be aware of everything that's going on in the world. Only God is able to do that and carry that load and that burden.
True.
Young people are not.
Here's the danger as to what they are finding, though, as well.
Okay.
In terms of authenticity, 2022, they say, just as they did last year. So it was 2022 and now this year. Social media is being considered the most authentic media. 33.6% of them said, hey, what's the most authentic media space? And they're saying it's social media, which has a whole danger to itself. And then the streaming platforms with 25%, followed by video games, 17.7%. Traditional television or traditional media combined is only 22%, which tells you that no one cares about what's happening on Fox News, CNN, NBC, ABC, all in traditional TV, whatever. Everyone is on social media. Everyone is on streaming platforms. And they found that the number one most authentic person out of all of...
Drum roll.
Oh. He's already on screen for any of you watching, but if you don't know who that is, it is Mr. Beast. And you're like, who?
Who's that? What?
Who dat?
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
Who the...
he is philanthropic, which got him in trouble because how dare you give to the hungry and those who didn't have hearing aids. So Mr. Beast makes out these videos. He spends millions at this point on making videos that are just like he'll blow things up or he'll lock himself. Like one of his most recent videos, he buried himself under like thousands of pounds of dirt, like in a coffin for like 5 days or something.
What?
Yes. Yeah. He does these things, but his name is Jimmy, his actual name. So he donates a lot of money to all like his surrounding area. He lives, I think, still maybe North Carolina area. And so they view him as being authentic of like what he does. And he donates so much to charity. Like another video, I just watched a video with him. A man was put into a fully stocked supermarket. For every day that he stayed in that supermarket, he could not go outside, he could not leave it, he got $10,000. Okay? But what he had to do is also give Jimmy back every day $10,000 worth of product, of food in that. And the whole supermarket was emptied and all of it went to charity, like to feed like the hungry and stuff. So it's like Jimmy's spending like $1 million like every video, but then he gets so many millions of views that money comes back to him. So it's this whole thing. So anyway, Jimmy does a whole lot of stuff. He's a good guy in terms of that stuff. Now, there's been controversy with him and some of his friends, but in terms of that, I could see where they would get this from, why the people would say it. So anyway, that's all I have to say about it. And here's what I want you to know, that when you say Harvard, what do you think of? Like, you would think doctors and lawyers and future business leaders of America.
Well, you know what I think? When you say Harvard, abandoning truth.
Yes. Well, what you would think of.
Okay.
But now you can also,
Harvard
in
Law
addition
School.
to that, yes, all that.
Yep.
Don't forget the in-depth analysis of Taylor Swift.
What?
Is also being added to that list. And we're going to give you Swifties all the details after the break.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Well, I'm trying to think of Taylor Swift songs and they're escaping me because, well, I have a brain. All right.
I'm glad you don't know any. I don't know any either.
22. Is that an album or is that a song? Beats me. Anyway, you can all just hate me in the comments if you'd like. But of course, a horse is a horse, of course. We have Taylor Swift, who has college courses that are dedicated to her at this point. She is Michael Jackson of this generation. And let's see if she surpasses. Michael Jackson had more talent, but we'll see. So this is what the Ivy Leagues are going to offer you these days. If you want to go to Ivy League school, in between, being pre-law or pre-med, you can also just add a Taylor Swift course in there for funsies. If you go to Harvard and you want to pay your $60,000 a year for tuition, just spend about, $6,000 then would be that Taylor Swift course. I did the math. You want to spend $6,000 on a Taylor Swift course? Or you could go to one of her concerts if you can get tickets for probably that amount. Harvard professor and, of course, diehard Swiftie, Stephanie Albert, who we've talked about him before, is going to teach a new course called Taylor Swift and Her World.
Wait a minute, that's a guy?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yes.
Just clarifying.
but he would say otherwise.
Trying to clarify.
So the class, again, Taylor Swift and Her World, is set to debut this spring in the Ivy League University's English department. That English degree, that's what it gets you. Here's what Bert said. We are lucky enough to be living in a time when one of our major artists is also one of the most famous people on the planet. Why would you not have a course on that? Okay, so Professor Burt, who graduated from Harvard back in 1994, had said that I try to teach only the courses that I think our students can really use, either because students want them or because our curriculum needs them. David.
Yes.
If I'm going to college, what's a course I would want? I would like a course all about how to get better sleep. And so the whole time you just sleep. I just made that up on the spot. It's not what the students want, because all the students would want is like how to, drink better. And by, I mean alcohol, drink it faster, better, so you don't throw up. Like the courses that they would want are not the courses that they need. They're not the courses that society needs. But here we are with Bert offering Taylor Swift. Are you going to take the course, David?
Of course not. But we should come up with, we could do a show on all the ridiculous waste of time, unnecessary college courses that you can take across the country.
I mean,
this is just par for the course. This is
absolutely.
I'm not surprised by this, but what a waste. I mean, what am I not? Come on, you guys got to chime in with your comments. Get a hold of us, email us, send us your comments. I don't know what I'm missing here, but I'm thinking
it's bad. Yeah.
Real authentic universities are offering.
Well, here, and this is why, as Bert says.
All right.
Taylor Swift is someone who establishes complicated and changing relationships to the idea of Americanness and to the idea of white Americanness and of middle America. Taylor Swift is a good way to think about what it's like to have a lot of eyes on you and wonder what you do with your privilege.
Oh, boy.
To look around and ask, I'm pretty ambitious, and I got to this place when I was pretty young. What do I do next? What do I do with all this attention?
So
that's the professor who's going to teach you about Taylor Swift. $6,000.
So it could also be co-named Narcissism 101.
Well, it's probably going to be an upper level course, I'm sure. And everyone's going to sign up for it, and they're all going to wear their Swifty t-shirts. But anyway, I've had enough of it. All right. Well, I think we can all agree the Gen Z is entertaining, maybe. Is that a way to put them?
Gen Z,
they're mockable. Yeah. But anyway, after the break, we're going to introduce you to a young woman who can't believe that her high school employer did not break down in tears after she decided to quit. So many emotions. Stay with us.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the FreedomProject Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
All right. This is an interesting one. Most of us have had an experience of either leaving a job, getting fired, resigning, or moving on. So how long were you at your job, and what kind of expectations did you have when you left? Was the company nice to you? Did they just ignore you? Did they not even recognize it? Well, this Gen Z young woman fumes after quitting her job, and she wasn't even thanked. All right, so since there's a video on this of her, and we're going to react to it, let's watch this and get ready. We'll come back.
Tell me why I just quit my job of 6 years at Woolworths. I was there for 6 years. That's a really long time. That's literally my whole teenage years. 6 years I quit. And I did not get one single thank you or goodbye or no one gave a f***. Am I surprised? Absolutely not, because that's one of the reasons that I quit, because nobody cared no one gave a single shit about me. I was literally just existing at my job. But to be there for 6 years, bruh, 6 years, and nobody could care less. No, the managers didn't say anything. Nobody said it. No, thank you, no goodbye, nothing.
Katie Patrick, 6 years, and nobody could care less. The managers didn't say anything. No, thank you. No, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye now. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
They were all just trying to contain themselves. Because as soon as she walked the door, then a lot of emotion. Woo! She gone. They probably had a party. She's 21 years old. Keely Pajovic. Oh
my goodness.
You're supposed to follow her. She's doing
25,000
other things.
followers?
Absolute chaos is what her profile says. Absolute chaos. Yeah,
so you're right.
You're not trying to draw any attention to yourself. You're trying to be authentic in that video, and you're trying to, relate to other people out there and really come to like a heartfelt like understanding of what it's like to be out there with a job for 6 years, and you are the one who decides to leave, and you are the one who deserves everyone to bow down and worship the ground that you're walking away from. What was that course you were going to take at Harvard? What was it called? Narcissism 101?
Yep, Narcissism 101. Yeah.
I do like that. She says, I was literally just existing at my job. When you started off your video clapping like this, I just wanted to snap right back at you and say, girl, that's right. Clappity, clappity, clappity. It's all about me.
Goodness.
This is
so, Katie,
such a sham.
I think you're right that people
I know.
probably,
Say it again. Say it one more
you're
time.
right,
For
I
the
think.
people in the back. Narcissism
You may be
101.
right,
I went to
Katie.
the class.
That people maybe celebrated her when she left.
Maybe a little bit.
People like this are high maintenance. And it's not just Gen Z, by the way.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't worry. And if you can look around your office and you can't find that person, you look in a mirror and see if you're the problem.
If you're pointing
It's
that
you.
way, you've got 3 fingers pointing right back at you. 1, 2, 3. Me.
It's me.
High maintenance.
High maintenance.
Oh my goodness, Katie.
Clap, clap, clap. Well, when I quit from here in a couple years or so,
I'll thank you.
I hope you.
I will. I'll miss you.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
You're not making any plans, are you?
Well, I have to keep up with my friend Keely. I got to upstage her, so that's what we're going to do.
my
All right,
goodness.
well, if you want to upstage me, feel free to do so. And if you are a fan of our show, if you could, like, comment, subscribe, share, clap, all the things. If you're watching us on social media, which you probably are. And also, if you're a fan of the video platform, Rumble, please, if you could, follow the channel over there, rumble.com/FreedomProject. Now, for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.